Did you know that an overwhelming majority of people walking around today have a forward head position? Believe it or not, it's about 70% of the population. And here are some ways that you can tell if you're a part of that group. Number one, you've seen photos or caught a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and noticed that your head is poking out in front of your body. Number two, you've got restricted range of motion or difficulty moving your neck. Number three, you've got a bump forming here or excessive rounding in your upper back. Number four, if you've got chronic problems like headaches, TMJ, and you get excessive tension in your neck, traps, shoulders, and upper back that won't go away no matter how much stretching you do or how many massages you get, then you absolutely need to know about some research that was recently published in one of the most well-respected scientific journals in the world. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to apply that research to overcome all kinds of neck problems and to help yourself feel and move way better. And best of all, I'm going to show you how to do it with no equipment whatsoever. Let's get into this. So this is the article I was telling you about. It was published at the tail end of 2022 in the journal Nature. And in this study, researchers took a small group of people, half of whom had forward head position, and half of whom had normal necks, and they put them into a bunch of different positions while using EMG to measure muscular activity and fatigability in their necks. And they made a few really interesting discoveries. One of the first things that they noticed was that the people with forward head position had significantly more muscular activity in their necks than the control group did. Now, this isn't particularly surprising. We already know that the head becomes functionally heavier the further it shifts out in front of the gravity line. Specifically, that it gains 10 pounds of perceived weight for each additional inch that it shifts forward. In much the same way that this weighted club becomes heavier the further it shifts away from the midline of my body, and we would expect that the further it goes forward, the harder the attached muscles have to work to hold that weight up. But there's something else at play as well, and that is the stability issue. With this bowling ball that sits on top of our necks, we have to keep in mind that only in its optimized carry position, where the head is perfectly neutral on top of the neck, are those muscles that attach to the head able to completely relax. In the same way that when this weight is perfectly balanced in my hand, I don't have to do very much. But the more that it gets off balance, the harder the muscles have to work to keep it from falling off. What was really interesting here is that the people with forward head position continued to have these high amounts of muscular activity in their necks, even when they were in a resting position where they were seated, leaning back with their head on a headrest. The other thing that these researchers found that was fascinating was that the muscles in the necks of people with forward head position experienced much greater levels of fatigue, and that fatigue came on way faster than people with normal necks. And these researchers point out that these two things are directly related, and in fact, it's a lack of endurance in the underlying muscles that play an important role in posture and stability that sets the stage for the exact type of superficial muscle hyperactivity that they saw on EMG in the group of people with forward head position. Specifically, what we're talking about is decreased muscular endurance in the deep neck flexors and deep neck extensors with hyperactivity of the upper trapezius muscles. This, by the way, is the exact same pattern that's been observed over and over again in studies of adults with chronic neck pain. And this also explains why it's not possible to massage or stretch your way out of these kinds of problems, because the hyperactive muscles, they're not really the problem. That's just your body doing the best that it can in the situation that it's been placed into. At the heart of this issue, though, is a head position that sets you up for failure by forcing your muscles to work way harder than they were ever designed to work in deep neck flexors and deep neck extensors that lack sufficient endurance. And so the solution is simple. Get your head into a posture that requires way less muscular effort to maintain while simultaneously building up strength and endurance in the supporting muscles. And with that in mind, let's move into our first exercise, which is a quadruped-supported isometric neck extension. The only thing that you're going to need for this is a supportive surface that you can comfortably go into all fours on and a ruler or long, thin stick. Once you've got that, you're ready to go. And then what you're going to do from here is take that long, thin stick and slide it down the back of your shirt like this. This is going to act as a place finder, and it's going to help you to isolate the lower neck extensors. Then you're going to go onto all fours, making sure that your knees are directly underneath your hips, that your hands are positioned directly underneath your shoulders. Then you're going to make sure that you're in the middle point between those two areas. You're going to drop your spine into a neutral position, and then what you're going to do is drive your chin backward until the back of your head comes into contact with that stick. Find a visual target right in between your hands
Make sure that your spine stays long, your chin stays tucked, and the back of your head is in contact with that stick the whole time. And then just hold. Elbows stay soft. Breathe deep into the abdomen. Back of the head, not top of the head, needs to be in contact with the stick. That's why having that visual target is so important. Keep that long spine the whole time. Now, initially, you might start off with a time goal of somewhere between 20 to 30 seconds, but eventually you want to work your way all the way up to the point where you can perform this for 90 seconds to 2 minutes continuously. The second exercise is a horizontal chin tuck, where your deep neck flexors are fully exposed to the pull of gravity. And while you can perform this exercise off of the floor, my favorite way to do it is with the head positioned on the edge of a bed. To perform this exercise, go flat on your back near the edge of your bed. Now you want your head positioned so that just the upper portion of the back of your head is hanging free, but your neck is still fully supported. You'll know you're in the right place when your forehead is lower than your chin. From there, you're gonna bend your knees to 90 degrees. You're then gonna engage your abdomen by flattening your lower back into the mattress, and then you're gonna tighten up your deep neck muscles, the muscles right around your Adam's apple, to drop your chin while simultaneously bringing your forehead up. Should feel kind of an elongation take place in your neck. And what I want you to do here is find a visual target on the ceiling just above your face and focus on that as you hold this position. In the final position here, your forehead and your chin should be directly in line with one another. You're just gonna hold that, focusing on elongating the spine, pushing the top of your head to the wall behind you. Then just breathe. Now, if at any point here you feel your head shoot forward like this, it means that your accessory muscles are taking over. You need to scoot yourself down a little bit so that you're fully supported, and just rest for a little bit, and then you can try again. Now, when you're first starting out with this exercise, the most important thing by far is to learn proper technique. So in the beginning, I strongly recommend keeping the sets very short in duration. I'm talking like 10 to 15 seconds, but focusing intensely on elongating your spine and keeping your forehead and chin directly in line with one another that entire time. Slowly, as the weeks go by and you get more comfortable with your technique, you can begin adding just a little bit of time to each set. Ultimately, you want to work your way up to the point where you can hold that position with strict form for 60 seconds to 2 minutes continuously. And as far as sets and reps go, the name of the game here is endurance, just like you saw in that study that I presented earlier. So we do need to be pushing the volume. A good rule of thumb is to use a cutoff of 45 seconds. If you're performing sets that last less than 45 seconds, you should be performing multiples for that exercise. So think like 3 sets if you're under that 45-second mark. Once you work your way up to 90 seconds, you can drop that to 2 sets per exercise. And once you go beyond that, a single set is gonna be enough. And if you find yourself struggling with that chin tuck exercise and you feel like you're choking or not getting enough air, I've got a whole video that talks about why that happens and how to work your way around that. You can see that by clicking the link in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Beyond that, I just want to thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button before you head out of here, and I'll see you next time.